bravo. Queen sacrifices her vacation to send a secret message, Har and Meg should dig their own grave. Queen Elizabeth II took time off from the final few days of her holiday to send an important message to Canada, prompting praise from royal fans. In a message to the Canadian public, Her Majesty joined the country on its Day of Truth and Reconciliation. Today is the first time the country will mark its National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. She said, "I join with all Canadians on this first National Day for Truth and Reconciliation to reflect on the painful history that Indigenous peoples endured in residential schools in Canada, and on the work that remains to heal and to continue to build an inclusive society." The message was also translated into French on the royal family Twitter account. Her Majesty's message was also accompanied by a tweet which read, "Her Majesty the Queen has sent a message to the people of Canada to mark the country's first National Day of Truth and Reconciliation." Following her message to the Canadian public, Royals fans expressed their delight at the Queen's touching tribute. Laurie Oliva said, "My deepest respect to Her Majesty the Queen. Thank you on behalf of the country." Rick Cummins simply said, "Bravo." Today marks a moment where Canadians came together to honor victims and survivors of the country's residential school system. To commemorate those forced to join these schools, Canadians have been urged to wear orange. Orange was the color worn by First Nations residential school survivor Phyllis Webstad on her first day of school. It was later removed. Ms. Webstad, the creator of Orange Shirt Day, said, "The color orange has always reminded me of that and how my feelings didn't matter, how no one cared and how I felt like I was worth nothing. All of us little children were crying and no one cared." The schools were established to forcefully assimilate Indigenous children. It resulted in thousands being separated from their families to attend the schools. Approximately 140 schools were created in the 19th and 20th centuries. Over the summer, more than 1,000 unmarked graves were discovered. On the eve of the day, a ceremony was held where survivors of the residential system shared their stories of childhood trauma. Justin Trudeau also spoke at the event and told all Canadians to mark the day. The Prime Minister also stated the day was for all Canadians. He said at the event, "Do not tell me, or try to explain, that the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation is a day for Indigenous Canadians. It is a day for all Canadians. Take a moment to listen to the stories of a survivor, to an Indigenous elder who shares their perspective and their experiences in this country. And know that that story, their story, is your story as well. Canada has been a monarchy for centuries, first under the kings of France in the 16th, 17th and 18th centuries, then under the British Crown in the 18th and 19th centuries, and now as a kingdom in her own right. These lands had been occupied for thousands of years by Aboriginal peoples who, now for many centuries, have maintained an enduring and very close relationship with the person of the sovereign and the Crown of Canada. The territories which now form Canada came under British power at various times by settlement, war or cession. A large section of eastern Canada, now Nova Scotia, New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island, was home to the Acadian people and ceded to Great Britain in 1713. 50 years later, New France, Quebec, was also ceded by the Treaty of Paris. The British North America Act, 1867, Canada's original constitution, created the Dominion of Canada with the Union of Upper and Lower Canada, Ontario and Quebec, Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. 3 years later, the province of Manitoba was created from a small portion of the vast Northwest Territories and was admitted to Confederation as was the remaining lands stylized as the Northwest Territories. In 1871, British Columbia was admitted as was Prince Edward Island in 1873. The provinces of Alberta and Saskatchewan were formed from the provisional districts of Alberta, Athabasca, Assiniboia and Saskatchewan and originally parts of the Northwest Territories and admitted on the 1st of September 1905. The Northwest Territories and Yukon became territories of the Dominion of Canada in 1870 and 1898 respectively.